Shout out to G-Man Boxing.
I've seen some dodgy scorecards in my time, but even I didn't see this coming. 119-109 for Joseph Parker as he defeats Junior Fa on a 12-round UD. Oh boy, where do I even start with this? Right, get your comments ready. This fight was pay-per-view, I believe, in New Zealand. Obviously, us here in Europe and America, we got it on DAZN. We paid £2 a month. I was worried this fight would turn into a stinker. I was worried in the build-up that this fight would turn into a stinker. Even I didn't see this coming. This fight was terrible, people. It really, really was. By the end, I felt neither guy deserved to win. I felt the draw would have been the fair result. Joe Parker, well, Junior Fa, I've not seen much of Junior Fa. I've seen a few of his fights. To me, in this fight, he showed that he does have some ability. And to me, as far as I was concerned, if anyone deserved to win, Junior Fa, in my opinion, probably should have got the nod. I can't believe that there was actually two bad scorecards. There was a 170 and 111 scorecard for Joseph Parker, which was bad. But to give Junior Fa one round, I mean, no, people. He won more than his fair share of rounds in this fight. The 115-113 scorecard, yeah, that's fair enough. This was a terrible fight, people. And I like trying to sound positive about boxing. I don't like saying this, that, and the other. I don't like... You know me by now on the channel that I don't like putting a negative spin on things. But this was a terrible fight, people. I pity the people in New Zealand who had to pay for this. 30... Well, I think it was like 60 US or New Zealand dollars. And I think that's about 30 euro. So, you know, this was not a good fight. Where do I even talk about? There's not much to talk about. Parker came out very early on, you know, looking for a right hand, looking to set up a right hand, was going to Junior Fa's body. And actually in the third round, he did appear to stun Junior Fa ever so slightly with a right hand. Ever so slightly. What Junior Fa was doing well was whenever Parker would come in, especially early on in the fight, he was catching him with some shots here and there. He never hurt Joseph Parker seriously, but definitely there was, especially early, I think in the first round he landed a bit of a left hook on the side of Joseph Parker's head that it definitely got Parker's attention. I'm not saying necessarily he was hurt or anything like that. No, Parker's always shown to have quite a good chin. But Junior Fa showed some ability in there. When Parker got close, and both guys can take responsibility for this, it's not just Junior Fa. Junior Fa would tie up and the referee would break. Now, some people, I was watching Ades do a live stream on this, and some people were commenting saying, oh, Fa's holding. I was like, yeah, but Parker's letting him hold. But Parker, at certain occasions in this fight, would throw a jab. He would step in. He wouldn't even cock a right hand or do anything. He would just go fall into the clinch and he waited for the referee to break him. Even more annoying was the fact that when you're in a clinch and you have a free hand, right, you're allowed to work with that free hand. That's why more in America, you'll often hear referees saying, punch or get out, right? You'll often hear that with referees, more so in America. Whenever there's a free hand, you'll always hear them say, you know, punch or get out, because that is a form of inside fighting. When you are in a clinch or you on the inside and you have a free hand, you can work with that free hand. You'll see Andre Ward do it when he was fighting to great effect in many of his fights. He would use the free hand to get punches off. He can get hooks and uppercuts off that way. It's a form of inside fighting. With Joe Parker and Junior Fa, the minute anything got close, they waited for the referee to break. Like, I heard break more so than I heard anything else. And there was fans in attendance. They were eerily quiet. 9,000 fans, and they were eerily quiet. There was not really much of an atmosphere. You know, I was happy to see them because it's nice to see fans, but the atmosphere was not fantastic in this fight. I suppose the fight itself didn't endear people to be, you know, cheering for joy. There was a lot of nip and tuck rounds. I mean, no one, as I said, really stamped their authority on this fight. That's why when me personally, at the end of the fight, I personally felt like it was a draw. That, like, realistically, both guys were in kind of pick 'em rounds. You know, Parker done some good on the outside. Junior Fa was, you know, countering quite well. You know, was throwing a few little pot shots here and there. Was tying up on the inside. Parker again was letting them. Joe Parker, to me, two things. His stock's going to take a massive slide from this fight. This is one thing that annoys about dodgy scorecards. All right, whether you believe Parker won or not, it's irrelevant. You can't sit with a straight face tell me there was a 170, 111 scorecard and a 119, 109 scorecard were legit, that they told the full story of this fight, because they absolutely didn't. You will go on BoxRec in 6 months' time you will see that fight and it will look like Joseph Parker comfortably won it. Alright? That's what's annoying about scorecards like that. They take away from the fighter who was lost if he's put in a good effort. If it's a close competitive fight, it takes away from the fight because it looks like, oh, he's just gone in there and got completely outboxed. You know, Parker done everything apart from win, you know, every round, which is completely not true. So it annoys me in that sense. Joe Parker, things seriously need to change. You know, Parker for me on the up and coming, you know, back like 2015, 2014 was so exciting to me because he was very explosive. He was letting his hands go, fast combinations, getting knockouts, this, that and the other. After the Takam fight in 2016 where he gasped midway through that fight and came back on late, Parker seemed to adopt this very cautious style. You know, didn't want to trade in the inside, didn't really want to exert himself at all. Just seemed willing to just coast his way through fights and just, you know, I'll nick that fight, you know, by the bare minimum. And to me, it's just, that's just such a flawed start, especially at world level. If you look at Joshua, the AJ fight, the referee definitely played a large part in that fight being as bad as it was. But Parker never, he was happy to almost lose that fight on points. Against Dillian Whyte, that fight was there for him to win. Early on in that fight, I looked at Parker and I thought, oh, Parker is boxing rings around Dillian Whyte until the headbutt landed. And even then, there was moments where even the Sky team were saying he's just switched off. He just doesn't know what to do. And you get to the end of the fight, you just think, oh my God, you could have won that fight, mate. That fight was there for you to win. Bit more aggression. Him and Kevin Barry, to implement game plans like that tells me that something seriously needs to change in that camp. And I may do a separate video at some stage today or tomorrow about what I feel Joseph Parker needs to do moving forward. But one thing he needs to do, Kevin Barry, they've been together for a while. They definitely have a close-knit relationship. But something they need to change. They need to move on. Joe Parker needs a trainer like a Virgil Hunter, I should say, or a Freddie Roach. Someone who, Virgil Hunter's not much of an aggressive fighter, but he does teach inside fighting very well. That's one thing about Virgil Hunter you'll notice. He teaches inside fighting extremely well to his fighters. Freddie Roach is more an aggressive fighter. Joseph Parker needs that. He needs aggression. He needs someone fiery as well in his corner. Like maybe even like a Teddy Atlas, not necessarily from a style point of view, but just someone who's able to just get that bit of fire in him. Because that's what Joseph Parker just seems to lack. He just... And Junior Fa to an extent, maybe it's something characteristic about, you know, people from that region of the world. Like Junior Fa at the end of the fight when he lost was just kind of like, oh well, at least I came, at least I gave it an effort, you know, I'm happy, you know, I'm happy either way. And it's just like, where's the fire, where's the tenacity? You know, if Derek Chisora had been in there, he would have been all over Parker like a bad smell, and I suspect Parker would have unravelled again. In fact, if we get Parker versus Chisora next, I'm going with Derek Chisora to win that fight. And seeing some people saying as well that, you know, how come, you know, Derek Chisora is still on pay-per-view, he's 9-0, because Derek Chisora brings the action, he's entertaining. Alright? At the end of the day, there are fighters who are limited, there are fighters who are flawed. I bring Joe Laws up because he's a character more so than a fighter, but he's a loudmouth. You know, that sells. You know, having little 12-round hug fests, that doesn't sell. You know, it's the world we live in. You know, so that's why I think that Chisora is still a pay-per-view fighter. And I look, I want to see Parker versus Chisora, but things need to change in Team Parker. That's 3 back-to-back performances now. You know, he looked a bit dodgy against Leopold. You've seen better days. Not dodgy in the sense that he was losing rounds, but just he went 10 rounds with Alex Leopold. Alex Leopold was never that great to begin with. This is a man who drew with Mark Demori on his pro debut, Alex Leopold. He fought then Shondell Winters, who got absolutely blown out of the water by Alan Babich. And now he's had this performance against Junior Fa. Something seriously needs to change with Joseph Parker. It needs to change now. There's a very, very good fighter there, but whatever is holding him back, I think that he needs to change his setup. That's what from what I saw tonight, a lot of things need to change about Joseph Parker. You know, I still have faith in him that he could do something. You know, he's already done some things, but I still have faith that there are some more world level wins there. But you have to look at everything. You know, it's what was it I said about Socrates when he said that smart people learn from everyone and everything, average people learn from experience, stupid people already have the answers. I'm not saying Parker is stupid, but think of what you're saying. Learn from everything. If you keep the same setup and nothing's changing and you're still having these kind of fights, it's not going to get any better when you step up in levels. It's going to stay the same. You need to look at this and think, you know what, I need to change. I need to change everything. I need to get a new team in. I need to change up the way I look at a fight, the way I go into a fight, my aggression into a fight. I need to change all that up. And You know, Parker's 29. I still hold out faith in him. But this was not a good fight. This was not a good performance. And those scorecards annoyed me. I mean, they really, 119, 109. Come on now. That's just ridiculous. I mean, what was that judge watching? I do not know. Crazy. Leave your thoughts in the comment section. What do you think? Let me know your thoughts on the scorecards. You know, and how you felt this fight went. Are you in agreement with me? Do you think I'm being a bit too harsh on Joseph Parker? Let me know in the comment section below. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, lads, please smash the like button. Subscribe, of course, if you're new to the channel. Hashtag GMansRocks. All that good stuff. Lads, I'll talk to you. Peace.